What is going on, players? And welcome back to Hungary for Success with me, FoggyPlays, on FM21. Today we're taking on Ujpest in the league, which we are no longer undefeated, which is big sad. But we're also going to be looking at the transfers, because the transfer window has just closed. And things have happened, so stick around to find out what happens in the with the transfers. I may have made a few boo-boos. But yeah, if you do want to enjoy this episode, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. It makes a massive, massive difference to the channel. We are trying to get to 500 subs before the end of June. Right, fellas, so as I said, we're taking on Ujpest in the game today. And we're going to be looking at the transfers. But as you can see, we have been defeated twice. Actually, I was really quite annoyed by this result. The first game back from our winter break, we drew with Halidas, and I was disappointed. But, you know, that's how things go, I suppose. We should probably look at the results since you were last here, though. We beat Pax 5-0 quite comfortably, then smashed Sporting. Like, it wasn't even fair. Then we beat Kishvarda 3-1 comfortably. As you can see, played a bunch of friendlies. Drew at Halidas, which was quite disappointing. Then against Shagid in the Cup, we won 5-0. Carlsberg with a hat-trick. Happy days. Then beat Honvid, which was quite nice. Beat Pax, then lost to Fervor. My PC had a bit of a shit attack during this game, so I did fear it was after crashing. And when it hadn't, I was a little bit annoyed with the way the result went. But then we went and played Depression in the Hungarian Cup, which was actually, to be fair, quite a nice draw for us. Beat them 3-2 in the first game, then lost to MTK in the game in between the two legs. So we've lost 2 games in the league on the bounce. Not ideal. And then we beat Depression 2-0 in the Cup again. In the next round, we're playing VAC, which should be quite a comfortable game. You saw that we obviously topped our group. Sporting drew RB Leipzig. So had we finished second in our group, we wouldn't have been progressing any further. We'll have a look and see who. So I think it was 2-2. Yeah, it was 2-2. That's what's up. Is there any major teams dropped into Monaco and Leipzig, Schalke, Kiev? They're pretty decent teams, I would say anyway. But yeah, like taking on Ujpest. We do have some transfers going through. Julio Cesar, player I offered out on loan, accepted every offer that came in from him. He rejected all of them. Jordan Millard came to me and complained that he wasn't getting enough first team football. He's going back to Forest. Waited till the day of the transfer window shutting, or window shut after the English one. So he's going to have to wait till the summer to move. We're getting 600k for him. You notice Aranda is a player you've never seen before. Bunch of offers that the board rejected, but he's off to Honvid, hopefully off to Honvid, because he's one of those mistakes, like I said. But the players we signed, these are all the players we brought in. So Chrysander Branchig is a goalkeeper from Mold, who I have had my eye on for about a year and a half. Brought him in. Kind of regret my decision. He's been terrible. So, you see, he played 2 games for us, conceded 2 goals. Not been great at all. Dejan Ivankovic is the striker we signed for 1.9 million to activate his release clause. He's not been great either, but, came on off the bench in a cup game. Didn't do too badly. Aranda is the guy who has thrown a hissy fit, and 3 games into his career, less than a month at the club. He's been here 36 days now. He's transfer listed, paid $500,000 for him. Could potentially raise 700,000. It won't, because he's leaving. So, well. Natino is a guy who just popped up at 5-star potential. Was worth, it was 23,000 to sign him. Went out on loan to Honvid, hasn't played a game yet. I think he's definitely got some potential for the future. Ronnie Jensen, this guy I can't wait. I cannot wait to see what this guy can do. He's an inverted winger / inside forward. So He scored on his league debut. He's played 3 cup games and he's been pretty decent as well. So I can't really complain about that. I think he's going to be a savage player. And then the next 3 players all play the same position because I kind of panic bought a bunch of them. So Jan Bartek is a right back / right midfielder. Pretty good player. I think he's been decent since he's arrived. No, not in the league. He's been terrible in the league, but he played quite well in the cup games. We did sell one player. You might have already noticed. We've probably noticed a couple of players actually that we sold. We also signed Lewis Kakaresh, who came in and wanted to go out on loan the day he arrived. So he's gone on loan to Anvid. Hasn't played a game yet. 250,000 I think is a decent chunk of change for him. We actually gave Chero Parento quite a bit of money in January. And then we signed Adnan Abe for 550,000 and definitely overpaid for this guy. Definitely overpaid for him. He's gone out on loan, back on loan to Turkey. He was only here a couple of days before he went back out. Definitely overpaid for him. But that's what happens. I'm starting to learn my lesson that Turkish players not very good. Also, not worth the money that I'm paying for them. These are all the players we've loaned out or sold or loaned out. Benoit Enjo, really disappointed in this. He had a £3 million release clause. DL Pro came in and went, thank you. He rejected a contract from us because they were offering him significantly more than I could. Jan Melik left the club as well. He was on loan at Hanvid. He has gone permanently. Had a season and a half on loan at Hanvid. Joined them for 65,000. We made a small profit on him, and I'm not going to complain about that. Pataki went out to Meshkoved. He was a shit tier player. And Falusi has actually been playing for Hanvid. Ooh. So he's getting game time out there. He's played 5 times since he arrived. I'll take that. Illis is a guy we signed a couple of years, or last year, 2 years ago, from Hanvid for 230,000. Sold him for 200k. Could potentially rise to 250. So hopefully we make some money off him. He was never going to be good enough. That was a mistake. Hud Wagner has gone to the team we are playing today in Ujpest. He only played 1 game in the league for us this season. He was quickly falling down the pecking order. Wanted him to get some game time so he could actually keep his place in the first team in the Hungarian national team. Christian Kun, who was on low or signed for us earlier in the season, been playing for the second team and actually pretty well. He's gone to Shagid, who've had quite the fall from grace, being a top division team not too long ago, now playing in the 3rd division. And Janjic has gone on loan to Ferver, just because he wasn't getting any game time with us, and they offered to take him on loan, and I was like, yes, please. As you can see, Ferencvaros still struggling this year, sitting in 9th, which kind of disappointing for them, I would imagine. With 11 games left in the season, not ideal. A win today for them though against Hanvid would actually put them ahead of Hanvid. Ferver up to 3rd, but we are sitting 5 points atop the league. These 2 defeats have been less than ideal. I am not happy with them at all. I think it might be because of some of the transfers that were done. Like the fact we lost Enjo. It wasn't great. As you can see as well, none of the players we signed are in the first team because they've all been average at best. Versace is also now Hungarian, so he's going to be playing in the Hungarian national team for the foreseeable future. Savic is on the road to recovery, which I cannot wait to get him back. He will be fantastic when he arrives back to the club. But we're starting with Werner and goal, Vlek and Borde as our wing backs, just because Maputa is suspended. I said for next match. I thought it was for 6 matches. Hidalgo and Stepanenko as our central defence, with Kosteric and Zamorano as our central midfield. Versace and Carlsberg as our wide men. Mandira and Grodem starting up front. Grodem's form has been pretty terrible recently, but he did score in the last game, so I'm hoping that pushes him on. Hud Wagner does start today for Ujpest, as does Bola, but I thought Bola was injured. Josefan, they're one of their strikers, we had on trial up until recently, and it wasn't very good. So we didn't offer him a contract because I didn't think he was going to be good enough. Since he arrived at Ujpest, he has been exceptional. We're finding all these random Brazilian players. Carlsberg is true. Carlsberg boots it in the back of the net. We're going to cancel that that shout, because if I encourage the players after they scored a goal 20 seconds in, they will lose their shit. But yeah, Yasovan, we had him on trial. As you can see, scouts doubted his ability. I think he was like a 2.5-star player. He scored 3 goals in 3 games, and he's played 1 cup game and scored a goal. So, you know, obviously, he's a worldly player. You know, that's just to be expected, to be fair. In other news, Savov got the European Golden Boy. We won a penalty. It was a handball. It looked like he pushed Hidalgo. But Sung Valley gave away a penalty. Regardless, Carlsberg puts it in the back of the net. 19 minutes in. We are 2 up against 4th in the league. And as you can see, Carlsberg's 31st goal of the season. And only 9 of them have probably been from penalties. 8. So that is actually his 9th goal from a penalty. So, math, I do good, clearly. Hidalgo, we're definitely going to be looking at, because he started the game quite tired. Grodem can't get a pass to Hood Wagner. I'm happy that Hood Wagner is playing again, because he was third choice at he was third choice at with us. He's still number 1 for Hungary. We don't have any other good goalkeepers, so Hood Wagner is guaranteed to start in the important games. Versace, that was far too easy for his international teammate, don't you know? Once we get to play an actual game with Hungary, we haven't played for a while, so we haven't had any time with the national team. But I'm not gonna worry too much about it. Like I said, or have I said that I'm only going to show you the Hungarian games when Yasovan, of course he scores. Of course he scores against us, because he was on trial with us like a month ago. I'm only going to show you important games. So if we make it to the Euros or a World Cup or something, I'll show you that. Other than that, there's no point. Why would I bother? This is a road to glory with the national team and with Dorogi. I'm only going to show you the important games with Hungary, though. Like, I only show you important games with Dorogi. So, cup finals, games win leagues in the league with, any game that I think is going to be interesting. You know the drill. If you're watching a Football Manager series, you know what it is that we do. Zamorano, back of the net. Carlsberg with an assist. Carlsberg has been exceptional. I am so glad I didn't sell him in the summer. And he did actually have an offer from, I think it was DL Pro, offered, was it like 6.5 million for him in January. And I was so worried that the board were going to be like, thanks. Thankfully, they didn't, which is fantastic. But also, the Didier Diaz, who we sold to Juventus for stupidly cheap money, he has actually started playing football for them, which is fantastic for us. Because if he plays, I think it was 5 more games, is what I said recently. If he gets 5 more appearances, we get 2 million quid, which I would take in a heartbeat. We don't need it, but still, finance, money, good things. Grodem, he can get a pass to Wagner. Grodem has been in very, very, very good form this season, which I'm kind of surprised with, because he did start the year injured. And we did go off and sign a bunch of other strikers when we really didn't need to be fair. Carlsberg handled the ball. Thankfully, he doesn't get a booking for that, because that would be rage-inducing. Mandira has been, after dropping off form recently as well. Well, I suppose goal scorer. Zamorano with yet another goal. But yeah, Mandira, for his ultra consistency that he has, the media are always banging about. He's super consistent. He's great. He's always a great player to rely on. He is not. He'll score 30 goals a season, but it's streaky as all hell. Milan Werner with a beautiful save. He is such a good goalkeeper. I am so glad we brought him into the first team when we did and been giving him opportunities as much as we have. He has been a breath of fresh air. That new Norwegian goalkeeper, I feel like that was a mistake. I feel like he's Joel Tappe, just from Norway. So we might end up selling him for a whole bunch of money. That'd be nice. But he came in as first choice goalkeeper on his contract, but he's since been demoted to backup. And I think he's probably going to continue as a backup. Because if anybody, I would probably put Perez in the team ahead of him. And Yosifan, I don't normally get it wrong, or too badly wrong with players. I feel like Yosifan is only playing well because we had him on trial, and I just never even considered bringing him in. So I did not think he was ever going to be good enough to play for us. And Carlsberg's headed just over again. He's really, really trying for this hat trick. I don't want to take him off because he is so very close to getting it. I'm going to take off Versace. I'm going to bring on Jensen so you can see the little man. Little man? How tall is he? Jensen. 5'10". He's not that tall. That's fine. Mandiri, you're going to come off. I'm going to bring on Oriola and swap the two of them over. Grodem can play as the advanced forward. See if he can do something with his advanced forward position. It's quite nice that he's figured out how to be a complete forward now, because he can just kind of run around and do all the things we want. Speaking of the devil, speaking of the devil, his shot is saved by Hudvagner. I'm surprised Hudvagner has conceded as many as he has, but I would imagine he's got a pretty decent rating though. Ujpest just scored again. 7.5 by Hudvagner. Doing well. They're the guy they just brought off the bench puts the ball in the back of the net, as you would expect. Kosaric is playing terribly. I'm actually going to bring on Ivankovic because he can play as a central midfielder. He's pretty decent at it too, attribute wise. Should probably brought Mora on because Mora is meant to be first choice or star player, if you will. Not really played him like that since he arrived. Not sure what Werner was doing there. That was a terrible clearance, goal kick, free kick thing. Carlsberg, I can't remember. I think it was a free kick. Carlsberg is combative, passes it to his international teammate in Jensen, the both Faroese, except Jensen has Danish nationality as well. So he doesn't count as a foreign player, which is fantastic. And he's 17. We have come out of this game 4-2 winners. Carlsberg and Zamorano both scoring a brace each. And we've come away with the victory. Werner playing a 6.5. Less than ideal, but that does put an end to our two-game shitfest that we've been playing recently. But I was looking at the scores of in other games today. Like Simon is our player, he's on loan at Depression. Kerr is our player on loan at Pax. Abe used to be our player. So like we've got like our finger in a lot of pies in this division. If it wasn't for us, I don't think the Hungarian league would be, I actually know for a fact, the Hungarian league wouldn't be anywhere near where it is. So for the next episode, we're going to come back and play the Europa League second knockout round, second leg, depending on who we get. Quarterfinal, it's not really working back for that. It's against VAC. We should easily walk past them. I might just come back for a game against Pax, or just depending on who it is. If it's a big team, we come back for both legs. If not, we'll just come back for second leg and the game against Pax. So if you have enjoyed this episode, do make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share with all of your friends, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.